Well, let's open the next file. Component charts. Now here's a place where we actually should use pie charts. A pie chart is great anytime you want to see how components add up to a whole. Well, hey, let's go on to the second tab and I'll show you some great pie chart tricks. This pie chart has a few wedges that are rather small and they're running into each other along the left-hand side. There's some interesting settings that are only available in pie charts. Click the chart to select it, and then click the pie to select the first series. Right-click and choose Format Data Series. Move the dialog box out of the way, and then use the rotation setting to rotate the pie so those small slices are in the lower right-hand corner. Down in the lower right-hand corner, you have a better chance of getting the slices to fit. We'll click Close. Now sometimes, no matter what you do, the slices don't fit exactly. Let's go on to the next worksheet. In this example, rather than trying to rotate the pie, we're going to drag one of the labels out of the way. Watch how this works. First, we have to click to select the chart, and then click on any label to select all of the labels. Now, click on just the label that's causing the problem. Grab the border of the label and drag it out of the way. Excel automatically adds the leader line. Sometimes that's a lot easier than trying to rotate the chart. Let's go on to the next worksheet. Here's another setting unique to pie charts and donut charts. We're going to explode this pie. No, we're not going to blow it up. Watch what happens. Click on the chart, and then click on the pie to select the first data series. Right-click and choose Format Data Series, and now use the pie explosion setting. A tiny explosion breaks the wedges apart a little bit. You can go all the way up to a 400% explosion, which creates just tiny little wedges. The first one was probably better. Click Close. I'm not sure I like exploding the whole pie, but I do like exploding one wedge of the pie. Let's go on to the next worksheet. Here we had a situation where the plant ran out of the trigger assembly, a tiny little $24 component, and that prevented a huge order from shipping. I'd like to pull that particular wedge of the pie out. Click on the chart to select the chart. Click on the pie to select the whole series, and now do a click on just the trigger assembly wedge. We could go back in and format the data point and change the explosion, or you can carefully click and drag to the right to explode the slice however much you'd like. That's a great effect. Let's go on to the next worksheet. Now here's the same pie, but I've changed all of the pie to white and highlighted that wedge in black. Now again, when we change the shape fill to white, the entire pie will disappear because we have to turn the shape outline back to black. Let's go on to the next worksheet for an example of when it doesn't make sense to use a pie chart. Scroll up to the top of the worksheet, and here you see we have three pies trying to compare 2005, 2006, and 2007. Now ignoring the labels for a second, can you tell if anything is growing or not growing? It's very hard for the reader to understand what's going on when they're trying to compare one pie to the next. I'll scroll down a little bit to show you a great alternative. This is the 100% stacked column chart. Rather than plotting actual numbers, Excel scales the columns so that way they always add up to 100%. Here it's very easy to see that our company, the black columns along the bottom, have been increasing significantly. In a stacked column chart, it's also very easy to see the last series, in this case competitor B. You can see that most of our gain has come from their loss. Now there's one exception when you have two pie charts to compare. It's a special kind of chart called a donut chart. Let's go on to the next worksheet. A donut chart actually takes two pie charts and puts them together into a single chart. This is a little tricky, so let's create one together. Down in row A44, select from A44 through C47. Go to the Insert tab. Now donut charts are hidden on the Other Charts drop-down. Choose the first donut chart. Let's click and drag to get this down in a blank section of the worksheet, and scroll down a little bit so we can work with it. First, you'll notice that the default donut chart has a huge hole in the center. Click the chart to choose one of the series, right-click, and choose Format Data Series, and we have a new setting called Donut Hole Size. Now, I've noticed this before. It's a bit of a bug in Excel 2007. That slider does not start in the right place. This is not a 10% hole. Let me show you. If I adjust it up to about 20%, the hole will actually get smaller. This is a bug in Excel. Let me go back to the 10% to show you how small of a 10% hole is. So let's choose something around 15 or 20%. That looks pretty good. Click Close. And I want to add labels to my data series. So I'll go to the Layout tab and choose Data Labels, Show. Now it added labels, but not the labels I was expecting, and it only added it to the first series. I need to select the other series, and again choose Data Labels, Show. One strange thing is that if we right-click the donut chart first, there would not be a setting for Format Data Labels. You have to add them using the Layout tab, and then you can right-click to format. Click on the chart, right-click the donut, and choose Format Data Labels. Rather than an actual value, I would like to show the series name. Choose Series Name, uncheck Value, and click Close, and now we've changed all of the outer ring labels to 2007. We'll have to repeat that for the inner series. Click the inner series, right-click, Format Data Labels, and make the same change. Series Name and uncheck Value. Click Close. This is one example of a donut chart where we can actually understand what's going on from year to year. Our company, in blue, increased dramatically from 2006 to 2007. Competitor B had a reduction from 2006 to 2007. Now, competitor A in red, it's really kind of tough to tell exactly how much they increased or decreased because neither edge of the donut wedge lines up. It's rare that you'll have a chance to use donut charts, but it's good that you know that they're there. Now, the one problem with pie charts is the 80-20 rule gets in our way all the time. Let's go on to the next worksheet. Here I have a situation where there's just way too many components. Let's create a pie chart, and I'll show you what I mean. From the Insert ribbon, open Pie, and choose 2D Pie. No one has any chance of ever figuring out what any of those little wedges mean. Well, there's two alternate pie charts that will help correct this situation. The first thing I want to do, though, is I want to make this chart as large as possible to give us the best chance of seeing the effect. I'm going to drag the chart to the upper left-hand corner and then use the resize handle to make the chart as large as possible. Now, let's go to Change Chart Type, and we're going to use one of two thumbnails, and it's your choice. There's a chart type called Pie of Pie. That's where we take all the small wedges and move them into a separate pie to the right of the chart. And another chart called Bar of Pie. That's where we take all the small wedges and move them to a separate chart to the right of the pie. The thumbnails are the third and sixth thumbnail in the pie category. Let's choose the bar chart for now. Click OK. Excel automatically moves some number of the pie wedges to the second chart. You actually have a lot of control over how those are split. Right-click the bar and choose Format Data Series. The Split Series By section at the top is how you determine which wedges get split out to the right. Right now it's split by position, and the second plot contains the last 7 values. It might be better to say that we want to move anything under, say, 4 or 5% out to the second bar. Instead of splitting by position, we'll split by percentage value and say that the second plot contains all values less than 5%. Click Close. Now we have a pretty good idea that there's 2 customers who make up most of our business and everybody else is under 5%. It's still possible to see which of those customers are the largest. So the customer in green, Steadfast Luggage, is the largest among our small customers. The Bar of Pie, or a similar chart, the Pie of Pie, are great for handling the small pieces of the 80-20 rule. Well, there you have it, our component comparison charts. I'll close this file.